All right, starting day two. I finished up the entire front area of the car, and I'm going to deal with the deck lid here today and the rear bumper. My friend Bradley Nielsen is coming over, and I might actually wet sand the entire rear bumper. We'll see. But I'm going to take the wing off and compound the deck lid. I did one of the tail lights. I'll do the other one on camera just to show you real quickly. Just running the Jescar with a microfiber pad. Dialed it in real easily, just a couple of quick passes. And we'll also look at the carbon fiber under the lights, under the deck lid here. So I'll look at that. And got a lot of work to do today, because then I have to go back over the car with a finishing polish. So let's blow it off. It sat overnight, lots of bugs on it, and let's get moving. All right, so let's take a look at this under the lights. I'm assuming it looks like the rest of the car. Yep, same deal. I'm gonna take the wing off. We'll do the whole trunk. I'll do the bottom side of the wing on the table over there. And then I'll come back around and do the top of the wing on the car. I think that's a better way to do it. So let's take this thing off. All right, so we take the little rubber grommets off. Don't lose them. And I think it's like a T27 or something like that in here. See if I can figure out where it is. Okay, it's up here somewhere. My favorite Molex plugs. In case you ever have to do this, there's a Molex plug right here, and the other piece is inside of here, and it clips right to a little bracket, and you just have to squeeze that tab, pull it off, and then there's another connection point up in here that you have to pull off. So see, I pulled that little plastic piece off, and now it'll come up and out. So let's close this up. Let's take the wing off. So let's see, what size is this? Bigger than T30. T40. So in my original video, this was the only part of the car that needed to be compounded because there was some significant wet sanding marks, or there were significant wet sanding marks on the car. This is why it's good to do this kind of thing in the morning. It's quite a bit more delicate than maybe some of the other things we were doing. I need to snake the brake light out. I've got to take that little tab off. Crap. Like I said, when I originally did this, I just set the wing on the side because I didn't know how to take it off. There we go. So I had to take that off in order to fit it through. Boom. There's the wing. Pretty sweet. See, it's tricky because I don't know what you guys can see, but under the lights, with a pen light, shined directly on the paint. It's kind of hard to see, but if I come out at an angle here, and if I follow the light from the overhead, I'll have to watch this back, but there, I think you can see it right on the edge of the lip there. See, there's some scratches and imperfections, and like I said, this is an issue of me not having the car protected. And I don't think it's from washing. I think it's from going way too long in between. So for those of you that are, following on Instagram or other areas, and you see this on camera, you're like, man, what are you doing? Why are you compounding the car? Are you crazy? Well, I think you'll get a better idea. Hopefully I was able to capture on the lights. The car's embarrassingly jacked up. Jacked up for my standards anyway. And the blue, the metallic, hides it really well. And like I said, with a regular light, even in sunlight, you can't see it. It has to be at the right, the right angle with the right light. So I'm just putting some eraser on here just to make sure the car sat out overnight. So let's get our pad primed. This is one we love to be in Florida. It's like 65. We'll climb up to like, 75 degrees. It's amazing. Amazing weather. Down on all the fibers. Get myself a towel. So not only did the paint react better to this than 105, the pad does better. It doesn't get as matted. And this is just a lot easier to work with, a lot easier to remove, a little oilier. Actually, before I get rolling on this, I'm going to tape this just to be safe. I'm going to take extra care, but I don't want to burn a hole through the side here. So I'm going to tape it just above the curve. So this is tricky, this area. All the curves. Since we're compounding, I usually blow out the pad like every 2 passes or so. All right, this is kind of a tricky thing to show in a tricky spot, but all right, so you see the pad, right? So it looks easy right now because if I want to get this, edge, if I want to get all the way up to the edge, especially here, down here where I have some scratching on the lip here, right in this area. And so conventional wisdom would tell you just bring the pad all the way up, right? But what happens is when we turn this on, the pad, these little microfibers, they stick out. And so you need to, I'll show you here, I'm going to turn this on. Let me turn the speed down just so we can control this. So notice how much the microfiber sticks out the edge. And so I need to bring this up to the edge of the pad, not the edge of the microfiber. Anyway, just something to consider. And so Again, I did 105 on the front of the car, and I transitioned over to this Jess car. And, you know, a couple of advantages to the Jess car. One, you know, the working time is better. It doesn't dry up on me. It doesn't clog up the pad as much, so I don't have to brush out the pad as aggressively after every pass. And, you know, it wipes off much easier. So, you know, to me, it just made sense to transition. Yeah, looks good. Again, we're using this, what is classified as heavy correction compound. And so you start to get, you know, a lot of people who take things a little too literally get all excited about, oh my gosh, you're compounding the paint, or compounding the car. It's not as crazy as you think. I mean, we're not removing gobs and gobs of paint here. I need this, that the paint on this car is really hard, and the way I can tell is, you know, I have a few little scratches and things in here, and if they're not coming out with a yellow pad and perfect finish, then also the way I can tell it's harder is I don't have any micro marring or any hazing or anything like that in the paint from using the milder polish or using the finishing polish, the Sun-X Perfect Finish. Same thing with this, like I don't have any real hazing or anything. Part of it is this is a great polish, and then, you know, secondly, again, the paint is really hard. And so it's harder to correct this. So I'm, in essence, you know, theoretically I'm not removing as much paint as I would if this was really soft with this compounding polish. I really need to credit Todd Cooperrider for this. I never knew how to use a machine to get areas like this until I went to esoteric detailing school. So again, with an area like this, you need to be careful, because think about this logically. If I sit it here, then I'm burning here and here. So I'm hitting this spot and this spot. And so that's why it's so important that I scoop up in here so that I can get, one, I can get the dip, the bottom of the half circle, but then ultimately I also want to get up to the edge. And so as I'm working the machine, as I'm polishing, I'm scooping it. And the 5-inch pad seems to be doing really well at this spot. So that was worth taking the wing off just for that. Now let's get these little pillars. So let's take our tape. Let's flip it. I mean, I'm sure you understand why I'm doing this, but so the pad doesn't hit and burn the paint. Or actually, not even the pad, but the backing plate. So I'm going to use the 3-inch to get up in here. Let's prime our 3-inch. Little trick, last night I washed my pads and I always wash them in the sink with Dawn, and then you wrung them out really good, and then grabbed a big beach towel, like a towel, and I squeezed them in the towel. And then when I was drying my polished towels, I just threw the pads in there it's on delicate. And kind of fluffed up the pads and dried them up so that they're ready to use this morning. So I only have 2 of these 3-inch cutting pads, and I thought I had a lot more. I don't know what happened to them all. So I'm going to get in here. I'm going to do this whole. Pretty handy, and I don't know if it's worth whatever $500 to do these tiny little sections, but how else are you going to get in there unless you buy some of Kevin Brown's crazy pads. All right, I'm going to do the same thing to that side. It's probably a waste of time here, but I get up in these little crevices. Even the hybrid's the neck is too long to get up in there. There's a little crack in here. And this is one of those things that you probably could just let go. I don't know how much my little hand polishing is even going to do, but see, when you get detailers, and I'm sure there's lots of guys that do it on the cheap, but when you get one of the really sort of world-class detail guys, even guys that maybe aren't even world-class or world-renowned, they're world-class, but they do this kind of stuff, but in a much larger scale. With lots of guys will have lots of experience with different techniques and tools and tricks and things to really perfect, a really high-end car. I'm just a dude in my garage just kind of making stuff up. Luckily, a lot of the things that I've done or figured out are just kind of common sense, common sense things that I've come to realize through now being exposed to people that do this for a living, and some of the different techniques and things that are done to correct paint and just general detailing topics. A lot of it's just common sense through trial and error. All right, so we have this whole section corrected. Now I need to come around and do the edge. What are you doing, pretty? What are you doing? You're running fast? Come here, let me see you. What do you got on for church? Daddy's gonna get in trouble for not going to church.
Yeah.
He's working out here.
Yeah.
Mommy's gonna be sad at me.
Yeah.
I like those shoes. What are those, Crocs?
Yeah, I can wear those.
Oh.
They're my shoes.
Yeah? Do you got a diaper on?
Wait.
Oh yeah, that's Daddy's, thank you. You got a diaper on?
That's for your bath.
Katie Bell's potty training.
That is for your bath.
For my what?
That is for your body talk.
For my car?
Yeah.
This is a brush. This is for conditioning pads, for polishing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know how to for it.
You never had this before?
Yeah.
Yeah?
See my toe.
You're not in the camera. Come on over this way. So, are you going to church?
No.
What are you doing?
I'm going home.
You going home?
Yeah.
You gonna pee-pee on the potty?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I did.
You did? All morning? Yeah?
I did.
You don't need diapers
And
anymore?
mommy cheered.
What did mommy do?
Mommy cheered.
Cheered?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you cheer too.
I cheered too. Everybody cheers for Katie
And
Bell.
why? And why do people pee and you cheer for why?
Yeah, but he's big. He's been doing it for a long time now.
I will do it one time.
Yeah, you're gonna do it for the rest of your life. Where are you going now?
Where mommy going?
See you later. Trunk stop thing from Kamikaze, a little short one. You have to kind of jam it in there. So let's work around the edge here. So let's see what works best here. The 5-inch might actually, yeah, the 5-inch is gonna do better here. Yeah. I'm just gonna turn the speed down. Conveniently have my light in the exact right spot. Yep, that looks dialed. Good, 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 good. All right, while I'm here, I'm gonna not do a crazy good job, but I'm just gonna hit this real quickly. All right, this week, I promise, I'm gonna order a new one of these because I need to order my new GT3 badge as well. Now, the dealership was supposed to get me the badge, but they haven't, so I'm impatient. I'm just gonna buy one. And so again, the badge that I use on it is it's a decal. It's because I don't like raised badges. And it's from a 997. So it's a 997 size GT3 badge. You know, before I removed all this stuff, and see, look at that. So I'm not even going to tape it all off. I'm just going to hit the major areas. Come on. So if you have a GT3, don't polish this thing. It doesn't come out so great. There we go. It's a real quick little hack job there. See, this plastic thing just doesn't respond to polish. I tried it when I first got the car and did this, but it doesn't work. So it just pops right off. It's just glue, or just like two-sided tape glued on. I just have to special order it. I mean, just a tad better. Gosh, this Jesscar polish is awesome, man. Really good. See the other side really quickly. I'm gonna have to ditch this pad after this. There, that makes me feel better, having that clean. Let's knock the taillight out really quickly. Paint has been good. So that's all you really need to do for the plastic. Yep, that's it. And then I'll finish those with a finishing polish too. So this is the step where it's going to be hard to even see much of a difference. But this is Jescar's micro finishing polish. So this is where having a gloss meter would be really helpful. But I don't have one. I'm also really short on white pads, so I'm gonna have to do what we can with this. So I haven't used this polish yet, but because so here's my philosophy, or my thought process here. Because the correction compound finishes so nicely, I don't see the need to use something like Perfect Finish because it has some cut. Yeah, that looks pretty darn good. That's what I'm gonna do. There's nothing better, I'm telling you, than that feeling. You know, the other thing you should do, and I already wiped this down, is prior to finish polishing, you should wipe the car down with eraser or Geon Prep or Manzurna top inspection or something like that. So the other nice thing about using this Jescar compound instead of the 105 is that because it finishes down a lot nicer, a lot more nicely, I'm not even going to worry about getting like really tight into the crevices. I'm just going to get the main areas with the finishing polish. You know, I'm going to do everything I can, but I'm not going to get out the nano and get every little square inch. But I wanted to finish this deck lid so I could get the wing done, get the wing on and done. So I'm going to go through and do all that with the finishing polish, just like I did with the compound. Here's a little Todd Cooperrider trick that I learned. There's a little scratch right here I saw when I was jeweling. So we put a little compound. I'm going to take the edge of my microfiber and then scrub it and flatten it, scrub it, flatten it, rub it this way. Flatten it. And it's still there. Let me try that one more time. It's right here. I think I may have missed the spot. So you need to be careful doing that. Boom. I think I was just in the wrong spot. Perfect. So we need to be careful doing that because, you know, when you turn it on the side, you're more aggressively, you know, you're doing more work more quickly. And so you need to be really careful when doing something like that. But now we have a complete, it was just like a little quarter-inch little, looks like almost like a little trail from wet sanding way back when, and I was able to get that right out just by doing that little tweak. And you could sit there doing that all day to every little spot. So, you know, at some point draw the line. All right, so let's dial this in. Good news is Brad is here to help me. So I'm just gonna finish polish this thing. meant to say I'm just going to compound this since it finishes down so well. I'm not even going to worry about following. I mean, it's underneath. You can't really see it anyway. So jeweling it up, I don't know how necessary that is. Compounding is done on everything except for the rear, rear bumper. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to inspect it again, but I think we're going to wet sand at least a section of this. There's a few little dirt nibs in here that we're going to want to sand out, and the peel is a little different than the rest of the car. So again, I still want some peel to match the rest, but because I don't want to remove it completely, but I do want to flatten it out a little bit. Most of it looks good, but there's a section right here that really I want to adjust, and that's where the dirt nibs are anyway. So it works out. So I'm gonna again, I just compounded the wing, so now I'm gonna finish it. So that way the entire deck lid is finished down, and so and then Bradley's over here. He's starting on the front, and we're going to sort of come back and around the the entire side of the car to get that all dialed, and then we'll mess with this at some point in the process. Because what happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor.